Allergy-friendly cooking with Amanda Lawley is brought to you by Betrace Apiary, pure honey from the heart of Macon County.
Welcome back to Allergy Friendly Cooking with Amanda. This time I'm going to do breakfast foods. Whenever I started my allergy friendly cooking, I couldn't find any breakfast foods. They're very scarce and far between, or they're all pre-made, and I wanted to do some of my own. So today all the foods are going to be breakfast foods. And when I say allergy friendly, I mean no soy, egg, wheat, nuts, tree nuts that is, peanuts, fish, shellfish, all the 8 common allergens. So we're going to start with a pie crust. Anybody that's cooking allergy friendly knows that there's not very many shortcuts. So if you can find one, use one. And for the pop-tarts, we're going to use a pie crust. And I'm just using a box one that I have out here in this bowl. And first we're going to put in, we'll just follow the directions on the back, but the directions aren't even allergy friendly, so we're going to have to improvise, and I'll try to let you know when I am. So 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, sorry about that, and sugar, and just mix those together. And then we're going to cut in 10 tablespoons of butter flavor shortening. And when cut in, I mean, I use one of these little things. A lot of people use just a fork, but this is a great little cutter. Shortening, and the box calls for butter, but since we're cooking allergy friendly, we can't use dairy, so we're going to use coconut oil. If you don't like coconut, I found that if you're not using organic coconut oil, it doesn't have a smell or really even a flavor. If you use the organic, and I do not know why this is, but if you use the organic, it's going to smell a little bit. It's going to have just a little hint of coconut flavor. And plus, if you don't mind if it's not organic, it's about $10 cheaper. So if you want to go that route. And I do like some coconut sometimes. Sometimes I don't. In this recipe today, it's non-organic, so it doesn't have a flavor. Just mash this all together until you get that sugar smashed in there with the coconut oil and the shortening. It's time to put in the egg, except we cannot use egg. So I'm going to use some applesauce here. It calls for 2 eggs, so that would be 1/2 cup of applesauce. Last time in my show I used flax and water, but whenever I'm doing sweet recipes like muffins or cakes or pop-tarts or anything like that, I love to use applesauce. You can't even taste it. You can use sweetened or unsweetened applesauce, either way, but it's a 1/4 cup per egg that the recipe calls for, and since this calls for 2 eggs, I'm going to use a 1/2 cup. And then the box calls for some vinegar and water, and it's 2 tablespoons of cold water and 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. I just mixed them together in there. Then you get this all mixed together. And since I'm done cutting the flour, I'm going to finish using this, because as you can see, it goes up the sides and it's kind of messy. So I'm going to just use a spoon from here. Stir it up. After this is all blended together, we're going to add in the box pie crust mix. This is a wheat-free, gluten-free mix, because we can't use wheat in our meals. So. After this is all stirred up, we're going to chill it for an hour. That's why we're starting with this, so that we will be able to chill it in the refrigerator. It'll help it stick together and help you be able to handle it a lot better when we make our Pop-Tarts. Okay, we finally got it to a nice doughy consistency, and I'm going to pop it in the refrigerator for an hour and let it chill so we can handle it nicely, and we'll start with our next recipe. Now I'm going to share with you a gluten-free, wheat-free flour recipe that is just my absolute favorite. It'll be the same as an all-purpose flour recipe, except it doesn't have wheat in it. And so I just bought a Tupperware container, and I labeled it gluten-free flour mix because we also have wheat flour in our pantry. And then I put the recipe on the lid so that it's just handy, and anytime I need to fill my stock up of flour, it's just right here and I can do it. So it's 6 cups of white rice flour, 3.5 cups of potato starch, 1 1/4 cup of tapioca flour, and 6 teaspoons of xanthan gum. Then once you get all these in here, you just put the lid back on, give it a little shake, it mixes it up nicely for you, and there you have it. You have a gluten-free flour mix that you can use and substitute equal amounts. If it calls for 1 cup of flour, you can use 1 cup of gluten-free flour. Now we're going to make some banana oatmeal muffins, and we're going to use some bananas and oats, of course, and some honey from the Bee Trace Apiary out at West Orchards, and some rest of our allergy-friendly stuff. So let's get started. We're going to use a 1/3 cup of sugar and a 1/3 cup of coconut oil. We're just going to mix those together, cream them together. Get that sugar all blended in there with the coconut oil. It's nice and creamy. Then after we get that mixed together, we're going to use some bananas. So I got a couple of ripe bananas here. You want to make sure that they have some brown spots on them. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a banana by its cover. Because the riper it is, that's where you get the flavor at. If it's not a ripe one, you're not going to get that flavor in your cooking. So we're going to mash up a couple bananas. And if you just can't wait to make this banana oatmeal muffins and you need to ripen your bananas faster, you can always put them in a brown paper sack with an apple and close it up for the night, and it should be ripen the bananas within 24 hours. The apples let off a gas that speeds up the ripening process. So I'm going to add the bananas in here now. It has such a good smell. And we're also going to use, instead of our eggs, again, we're going to use some applesauce. And the recipe calls for 2, so once again, we're going to use a 1/2 cup of applesauce. That in. And then we're going to use a 1/3 cup of honey. I love the West Orchards honey. It's so good. It's grown here locally, and you can use honey for so many different things. There's just so many great uses for it. For a sore throat, it instantly soothes a sore throat. You can, it has lots of minerals like riboflavin and zinc and potassium, copper, iron. It's just a great natural vitamin there. I'm gonna mix that in there. If you've never been out to the West Apiary, you should really go out there and see. They have an amazing bee observation unit inside their orchard where the bees come in and out, and you can see them right. It's through the glass making all their honey. It's just amazing. And Dan is so full of information. You should really get out there and see it if you haven't seen it before. So after you have this all blended together and it's a nice runny mixture there. We're gonna add in all the dry ingredients. So we're gonna use our gluten-free flour mix that I just showed you how to make. We need 1 cup of that. We got 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just gonna throw them all in there. And then we have 2/3 cup of oats. And if you want your recipe to be gluten-free, make sure you get the gluten-free oats, which mine are because we are also gluten-free as well as allergy-friendly. So we're going to mix this all together. With all this yummy stuff in it, you know it's going to be good. We got oats, we've got bananas, applesauce, honey. I mean, what could go wrong there? Great consistency. And then after you get that mixed up, we're going to put in a teaspoon of cinnamon. Yummy, which also have lots of great natural uses. And then just a dash of vanilla. And blend those together. If you want to add chocolate chips, which my kids love, you can also add in some allergy-friendly chocolate chips. Make sure that you get the kind that do not have dairy in them, but you can do that now as well and just fold them into your mixture. I did decide to go ahead and add some chocolate chips to this, just some mini ones. They're the allergy-friendly kind because my kids love them so much. So I'm going to stir those in, and when we're done stirring those in, we're going to put them in a muffin tin. I got this mini muffin tin just because they're cute and bite-sized, and the kids like them, like they're extra special that way. And I have this is just a wonderful, handy little, you can use it for cookie dough, which I think it's what its purpose is, but it fits perfect. It's just the right size for these little mini muffins. Makes it so quick and easy. Just scoop them right out of there and put them in the... I would normally spray the tin because they do come out really easy if you spray it. But recently I've noticed that in all the cooking sprays, there's soy in it. And we can't have that for an allergy-friendly cooking show, so I'm using the little muffin cups today. But if you don't have a soy allergy, it's okay to go ahead. They fall right out. If you spray the tin real good, they come right out. And then you don't have to mess with the little cups. But either way. And I set the oven at 350 degrees. I'm going to put these in there for about 15 to 18 minutes till they come out. You can use a toothpick test. If it comes out clean, then they're ready. The banana oatmeal muffins just came out of the oven and it's smelling delicious in here. Can't wait to give those a try. And now I've got the pie crust back out of the refrigerator. It's been chilling for an hour, and as you can see, it's nice and firm so you can handle it. And it's recommended to put it on this wax paper. It just helps contain the mess a little bit. And you divide it in half, use about half of it, and then we're going to put this other half back in the refrigerator so that it doesn't start getting soft and warm and not as easy to handle. So once you have this on the wax paper, get another piece of wax paper and cover the top of it. Get your rolling pin, and at first you'll need to just use a little mashing down motion so you get it kind of out there how you want it. And then you can start rolling it. And you want to roll it until, I don't know, about 1/4 of an inch thick, or really however thick you want your Pop-Tart crust to be. Kind of like them a little thinner, plus it goes a little farther that way. I went around my kitchen and just looked for things to turn into a Pop-Tart, like a little cutter. I found this from my slap and chop. It's just a circle. And then this is just a little dish, a glass dish. You can also, for kids, it'd be really cute if you just used a cookie cutter, like a good size one, to make cute little different shapes for your Pop-Tarts. I think I got it about where I want it. Let me spread out just a little more. Okay, then you peel the wax paper right off the top. Comes off real nicely there. And I have a cookie sheet and I've covered it with parchment paper just in case any filling will come out when you're cooking your Pop-Tarts, so you don't make a huge mess on your cookie sheet. And we're just gonna start it just like you would a cookie. Just cut you out some shapes. I'm gonna do a couple of those. A couple of these. I think I can fit 2 more circles on here. Then to get them off of here, I'm going to use a spatula just to help slide them along so I don't break them up or put a hole in them. Slide it under there. And you're going to put that on the parchment paper. Of course, you only want to put one of each down because that is your base, your bottom of your Pop-Tart, and then you'll need another one to put on the top of the Pop-Tart. And if they get a little mushed up, you can just smash them back out, flatten them out how you want them when you get them on there. Next, we're going to take some jam or jelly. You can use whatever kind flavor that you want to use. You can use grape, raspberry, apple, anything you would like, really. If you have some of your homemade, that'd be perfect. This is strawberry jelly, strawberry preserves. Just take a little spoonful, however much you want. Put it right in the middle of your Pop-Tart. Try to keep it away from the edges a little so you can crimp the edges, and hopefully it won't ooze out as much if you don't have as much in there. I like a lot of filling in my Pop-Tarts, so I put a lot in them. Then once you get that all on there, you're going to put the top on. Oh, I have raspberry too. I'll do that with the next ones. Then you just slide and just flip it over on top of there. Same with the circles. Uh-oh. One more circle. Let's see if we can get off of here without breaking it too much. Perfect. Once you get them on your sheet, you're going to take the edges, you're going to use a fork and just crimp around the outside, all the way around the outside, and this will seal it. And do this to all 3 of them. And we're going to use the leftover dough to make more of them. So you'll have more Pop-Tarts than just 3. Almost got this done. So we have 3 of them ready to put in the oven. But we're going to take this leftover. We don't want to waste the pie crust. We're going to take it and make it into a ball and make some more Pop-Tarts. Well, I finished up using most of the pie crust, the half that I had taken out, and got these Pop-Tarts right here. There is a lot of pie crust in those boxes. It's enough to make this many Pop-Tarts, a whole pie, and with the leftover dough, I usually make some cinnamon chips. Just roll them out. I use cookie cutters. I sprinkle a little cinnamon sugar, pop in the oven at 425 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes. So I'll probably do that later, but right now back to the Pop-Tarts. I'm going to put these in the oven at 425 for 15 to 18 minutes. Well, I better set the timer because I don't want these to burn. And we're going to make a frosting for them while we let them bake. So we're going to take a cup of powdered sugar. And then all we need is some kind of milk. Not dairy milk, of course, but I'm going to use rice milk today. Just enough to thin this out. And that'll be so just a little bit at a time. You don't want to use too much. It's amazing. It just kind of soaks up the milk, and you are surprised how far that little bit of milk can go. So I'm going to stir it a little bit and then add a little more until it has a nice frosting kind of consistency. It's starting to look like some frosting in there. I think I'm going to add just a tad more. Not very much though, because it's getting there. And once we have this mixed up, we can just set it off to the side until our Pop-Tarts are done, and then we'll let them cool for a while. You don't want to put it on them while it's hot because, of course, it'll just melt and run away. So look at that frosting. It turned out to a nice consistency, and we'll leave it at that. We won't add any more milk to it. You can use whatever kind of milk you want. If you want to use vanilla almond milk, that would be great in it because it has a little vanilla flavor to it, and that's always yummy in some frosting. So I'm just going to set this over to the side, and I'm going to move on to some banana sushi. It's a little breakfast sushi for you. We're going to use a nice firm banana. And I have sun butter, not peanut butter, because, of course, peanuts is one of our 8 allergens. Sun butter is really good. It has the exact same consistency as peanut butter, and it's a lot of the same similar flavors. It's really got that nutty flavor just like peanut butter does, and but it tastes kind of like a sunflower seed. That's where it comes from. It's really good. So we're going to just drench this banana in some sun butter. Get a little messy. That's all right. And over here to the side, I have some Rice Krispies. And after we get this covered, we're going to roll it in the Rice Krispies until it's completely covered. Like so. So once you got all the peanut butter on there and the Rice Krispies, then you just cut it into slices. Like so. How you like this little cutting board here? Everybody needs a pig in the kitchen, right? A lady once told me that. So then you have these little banana sushis. Just like so. Looks like your little sushi. Kids love them. They're just fun. And they're good for you. Well, the oven's going off and it says that the Pop-Tarts are done. So let's get them out and look at them. Oh yes, they are done and they smell so good. See, just to where they're golden around the edges, and that's why we put the parchment paper down in case they oozed out, and I had some cracks in the crust, so they did leak out a little, and we're just going to set them off to the side over here and let them cool. And when they're cooled, then we will go ahead and frost them. In the meantime, we're going to make some zucchini muffins. This is one of my kids' favorite recipes, zucchini muffins. If you do not have a garden, or you're not growing zucchini, and you know somebody that has a garden, ask them if they have extra zucchini. Anybody that grows zucchini has extra zucchini, and they're glad to give it away. So first we're going to put in 3 cups of our gluten-free flour mix. 2. So all of our dry ingredients are going to go into one bowl. And then we'll put our wet ones in another bowl. Then we have half teaspoon of nutmeg and a half teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of salt. Pour that in with the other dry ingredients. And then we have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and a teaspoon of baking powder. And then we're just going to mix those up. Grab a spoon. We've got this all stirred and mixed together, and we're going to make a well in the center. So we're just going to push all the flour up against the sides. So after you make the well in the center, just sit it off to the side, and we're going to start on our wet ingredients. Here I've got 2 cups of zucchini. I just love the fresh zucchini. It doesn't really have a flavor to it, but it just helps keep the muffins really moist. And then it's just good for you. So. And if you're wondering how come I have zucchini in the middle of winter, I freeze it. I shred it up just like this, and I can freeze it, and I can use it all winter long. And then we use a cup of sugar, half a cup of oil, and then a half a cup of applesauce. We're really using up this applesauce today. But you didn't know you could use applesauce in so many ways, did you? For so many things. We used a whole jar today. So then we're going to mix up this zucchini mixture here, all the liquids. Just get them stirred up. And once we have them all stirred up, just like so, we're going to throw it in this well over here. Just dump it all in at once into the center of your flour well. And then we're going to mix that all together. Zucchini was a favorite growing up. Zucchini bread, my grandma used to make it all the time. It was a special treat at her house. She would always warm it up and put butter on it, and I'm just glad that I've been able to find a way to make it allergy friendly so that my children can have the same kind of memories of having zucchini bread as children. So once you get it all mixed up, if you want to add chocolate chips, this is the time to do it. I don't know if all muffins are good with chocolate chips or what, but my kids like chocolate chips in all their muffins, so I'm going to add a little bit. Of course, again, make sure they're allergy friendly. They have no dairy in them. Okay, about a half a cup or whatever you want. Stir those in, and then we're ready to put them in the muffin tins. Okay, we got this zucchini muffins all mixed together, and I've lined the tray once again with some paper cups, and so now we'll just start filling them. And I like to make, this is a double my recipe, and this will also make 2 loaves if you made it into loaves, but I like to make a lot of extra and just throw them in the freezer because you can always use them later. You can just heat them up in the microwave. They're really handy, and like I said before, if you have been fixing allergy-friendly foods, there's not a whole lot that's simple or shortcuts to it, and so if you can prepare this ahead of time and make a lot of them, then you can have a shortcut. All you have to do is go to your freezer and get them out and pop them in the microwave for 30 seconds, maybe a little bit longer if they're not done yet, and there you have it. You have a little shortcut for yourself. And I emptied all the banana muffins and I put them in this Ziploc bag here, and I just labeled them AF for allergy friendly banana oatmeal. So I know what to go for. Okay, I got this all filled up. We're going to put it in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Okay, I have the muffins have been cooking for a while in the oven, and we're gonna go ahead and frost these Pop-Tarts. They're cooled off enough. So just take a little spoonful, however much you want, and spread it on the top, just like so. And this frosting will harden to a nice little hard coating. So while it's wet, if you'd like to add sprinkles or something for your kids, go ahead and do that while it's wet so that they'll stick. So you add a couple different colors and make them so cute. I love these little Pop-Tarts. So I got them all frosted. Let me put a few more sprinkles on these. Oh, and it sounds like the muffins are ready to come out, so I'll get those in just a second. Okay, got these all frosted. Don't they look so cute? I love these little Pop-Tarts. Oh, they're done. Perfect. Turn that off. Nice and puffy and ready to eat. Okay, here we have all of our breakfast foods that we fixed today. We have some banana sushi, our zucchini muffins, our Pop-Tarts, and our banana oatmeal muffins. And the great thing about these are that you can throw all of these into the freezer and just get them out when you're ready to have them. Put them in the microwave, or if you want with the Pop-Tarts, you can put them in the oven for a little while. Of course, you can't put the bananas in the freezer. I don't know how well that would turn out. So if you're interested in any of these recipes, you can email recipes@SheratonValley.com and they will send you them. Thank you for joining me at my home with Allergy-Friendly Cooking with Amanda.
Allergy-free Cooking with Amanda Lally is brought to you by B. Trace Apiary of Macon, Missouri.